Hi, Dyslexic Genius here, Brad Hurt. I'm back on the Edison Triumph and I'm working on the top end right here. And there's a few things you have to do to them. First, the mandrel sits here and it runs in this bearing like this. So the first thing you need to do is use a small centering drill, and we're going to clean this up like that. Just clean it up, any burrs, because they wear. And then the bearing for it, I've polished this up and cleaned all the wear marks out. And after you do that, you want to check it so that it will slide smoothly in. All I did was clean this out on the inside and let it move in and out smoothly, because this has an adjustment screw. And then on the end bearing, I did the same thing. I polished this out, polished this bearing piece, and now this fits in and it slides in and out smoothly because there's an adjustment here on both ends. The other thing is, when I was working on it, I think Uncle Bubba had worked on this once, because back in the day, people thought, well, put grease on it for the back rod. Well, I cleaned it all out, and you can see this kind of a red-orange grease that they had shoved in here for the back rod. And putting grease on a back rod like this will slow the tracking down. And then you want to polish out the back rod so that it slides in smoothly like this. And you can test it. You see how quickly I barely tap it and it's moving smoothly. I polished these out, the inside of this a little, with a small brake hone, a 2-stone brake hone, and that makes them run a lot smoother. And the reason you do all this work is, this is the adjustment screw for this bearing, and this outside piece rides in here. But at the end of this, you can see how it's all boogered up of people trying to move the bearing in and out for adjustment. On assembly, you really want to put a light coat of sewing machine oil on this so that it moves in and out, because this screws in and the bearing moves this way with the screw. And you want this to be smooth. One other little important thing I want to show you is that they center drilled this at the factory, and then they have 2 holes here at the other end. So what it means is, when they did the back rod, they had 2 centers, 2 pointy 60-degree angle things, okay? And they machined it between centers to make this absolutely straight, so everything runs smoothly. And that's, that takes some machine time for anybody to machine this down and then mic and make sure it's all running straight, and they hit that number every time you mic it, every time from the factory. Just little things you see on these things. Now I'll start to assemble it and put it all back together, but this is the work you have to do on the top end. And at this time, if you want to polish out your bed plate and clean it, this is the good time to do it, because we're just going to reassemble everything. And that's my tip for today.